there. Welcome to AS 280, Introduction to Photographic Literacy. My name is Dana Clark, and I am the primary course instructor. So I thought I would take a few minutes to introduce myself to you so that you'd have a face to the name, and so that I could tell you a little bit about what to expect as you move through the course this semester. First of all, since this is an online course, it's fairly large. There are 4 sections and about 250 of you all together. So to help me with grading this semester, I've got 2 of my colleagues from SAVS, L.A. Watson Brock and Renee Oshwald, and they will be grading, they will each be grading a section. So LA will be grading section 204, and Renee will be grading section 202. And as the semester gets underway, they're going to introduce themselves to you all individually. But if you're in either of those 2 sections, 202 and 204, I will not be grading your work. I'll be on hand to sort of answer questions and help you with things, and I'll kind of be the primary course communicator, but I will not actually be evaluating your work, and I'm going to come back to that in a little bit. But look for those introductions from your section graders, again, 202 and 204. Otherwise, if you're in 201 and 203, I'm your grader and, the course guru, so you'll come to me if you have any grading questions. So now I'd like to kind of talk about, what to expect as you kind of dive in. You may have noticed, since you've opened Canvas already, that this is a modules-based course. So what that means is basically we will be moving through unit by unit, and each unit takes a couple of, anywhere from like 2 to 4 weeks to get through, and there is an assignment due each week, pretty much each week, as we move through the learning module. So the pace of the course is fast, but it's manageable. And the nice benefit of being an online course is that all of the assignments are available today. So if you wanted to just go through and take the course in the next, 2 weeks, you certainly could. It's all there and it's all available to turn in. I don't recommend doing that, but you certainly could if you wanted to. But we designed it this way so that if you do have outside commitments, like work or, travel with sports, or university commitments, or if you have children, and if you're just taking this, as you can amongst all of your other life's responsibilities, you should be able to manage your time fairly well. Each module is organized the same way, and we usually begin with a series of lectures, and then we have anywhere from 1 to 3 assignments. In the first module, your first assignment is an essay-based assignment, and that is an assignment based on some readings I'll have you do to kind of get you familiarized with what I hope you can achieve from this course and what kind of photographic literacy is all about. And then beginning in Module 2, we start actually taking pictures with our cameras. Now, this is really important. You do not need to go and purchase a fancy DSLR camera or anything like that. We have designed this course for you to be able to complete it with a smartphone, if that's all you've got. So, you do need a camera, but you don't need to purchase anything unless you don't have a smartphone. But since most of us do these days, you can take pictures with your phone. That's totally fine. I will ask you to upload pictures as we go, so if you have trouble uploading from your phone, just be sure that you're also working with a computer so that you can get your images from your phone to your computer, and that'll come up a little bit later into the semester. But as far as technology, that should be all you need. It's much easier to do this course on a computer than it is on your phone. I know every semester I have students try to just kind of take it using their phone, but it really is, you can make your life easier if you try to do it using the computer. If you are on campus and you don't have like a great setup, go to the computer labs. They're excellent, and they're full of lots of people who can help you with image uploading and filing and things like that. So sorry, I kind of digressed, but to get back to the sort of the module setup, we start with lectures, and then usually I introduce, if we're shooting, you have a part one shooting assignment, and that's where basically I just ask you to take a bunch of pictures based on what we've talked about in lectures. And then that's usually followed by a peer review process, because I think it just one of life skills, in addition to one of art's skills, is to be able to respond to feedback on your work and then improve it. So we'll do a first set of image shooting and then a peer review, and then you'll submit the final image, kind of with improvements you've made based upon the feedback that you've gotten. And that's kind of how we work each module as the semester goes. And we cover a couple of different approaches to photography. So what this isn't is an instructional kind of technical photography class. So if that's what you're thinking you're getting yourself into, if you're thinking I'm going to teach you how to do really good digital photography, this is not where you want to be. And if you'd like some advice on where to be, just contact me and I'll put you in touch with some of the other faculty at SAVS that do teach very technical photography classes. But what this is it's kind of like photography appreciation. So my goal for this course is to give you kind of a brief survey of the history of contemporary photography, both in theory and in practice. What roles photographers play in art and society, and what your aims are for looking at and kind of studying the world around you. I'll teach you some basic skills of composition so that you can kind of organize what it is that you're looking at pretty well. But then the actual taking of the photos is sort of up to you and your own practice and how you choose to develop it. So since this isn't really a technical photography class, but it's more of a photographic appreciation class, your lectures, with the exception of those in Module 2, are not going to be really instructional. I'm not going to say this is how you do this, but what they are going to be is full of a lot of history and context and examples of work from photographic artists throughout the history of the medium. And the idea is that you look at these images and you kind of familiarize yourself with traditional practices and more contemporary practices in the history so that you can root your own work within that context. So the lectures are important, but they're not going to tell you how to do what I want you to do. This is a creative class. So the challenge is for you to kind of digest the material that you see in the lectures and then make it your own. So as you dive in, if you're starting to watch and you have any questions about that, just contact me and let me know. But we really do cover the basics, and then the idea is that you can go out and look at the world with fresh eyes, and your pictures will be better for it. And it'll also give you some problem-solving skills that are invaluable and will help you, no matter where you go in life. So I don't expect you guys to come out of this class master photographers, but I do expect you to bring curiosity and enthusiasm and kind of a willingness to try new things. So that's kind of the broad strokes here. Sorry, I've got notes. So now down to kind of how to do it. This course is designed for you to succeed and do well if you do all of the work we ask you to do. And that is kind of, it's not an insignificant amount of work. The course is dense and it moves fairly quickly. So you can expect about 3 to 4 hours of working time outside of the time you spend just watching lectures and taking the quiz. Since many of your assignments will be to go out and take pictures, you're going to need to allow yourself plenty of time to do just that. I cannot stress time management enough for this course, and I can't stress what a bad idea waiting to the last minute to complete assignments is. If you do find that you're starting to fall behind, or you know that you're going to have a patch of the semester. Spring semesters, I feel like, tend to be really busy for everybody. So if you know that you have a patch that's going to just be bearish, the thing to do is to let me or your graders know so that we can kind of help you with time management. Because like I said, this course is designed for you to succeed, but you have to kind of keep on track of things and you have to do all the work that we ask you to do. Each assignment has a pretty thorough, I worked on them a lot, a pretty thorough grading rubric. So after you've watched the lectures and you've read your assignment instructions, you can also consult the grading rubric to find out exactly what it is that we're looking for. And it's important for me to say here, and I'll say it again like 600 times during the semester, for your shooting assignments, the amount of pictures that I'd like you to take and I ask you for in the instructions is a minimum amount. Taking more than that will give you maximum points. And the reason I give minimum amounts required in the instructions as opposed to like, this is the number of pictures I want you to take. People always ask me why I do this. And the reason that I do it is for time management. So if you know you have a busy week and you don't have enough time to take 100 pictures, but you have enough time to take 75 pictures, which is the minimum number I ask you to take in the assignment instructions, you can just do that minimum. And then if you get everything else, tick everything else off on the rubrics at the maximum, you still come out with an A. Or, you can take over and above that minimum number of pictures and kind of slack off on maybe some of the writing part and still come out with an A. I mean, this is very you-driven, the way this course moves. So I put a lot of the responsibility on completing it in your hands. And in a lot of cases, I'm not going to tell you this is exactly what you need to do. I'm going to let you have a little bit of room to figure out what is best for you. So just know that going in, and it'll make sense. All that will make sense once you start to dive into that first shooting assignment. But I feel like people always get confused by that, and I just want to take a minute to explain why I do that. Like I said a little bit before, all the course content is available like today, day one. So you are more than welcome to work ahead and kind of manage your time that way. If you have something come up and you turn in work late, that's a little bit of a different story, and all of that information is on the syllabus, and I'm going to go through that in 2 videos from now, so stay tuned. But just kind of generally, if you want to maximize the amount of points you can earn this semester, I have sort of 5 kind of general tips for doing well. And if you kind of stick to these and do these or pay attention to these sort of with every assignment, you're on track to complete this course great and, hopefully get a lot out of it. The first sort of tip to complete AS280 with flying colors is to read all of your instructions completely and thoroughly. Read them once, read them twice, read them 5 times, read them carefully. Because I don't get to see you in person, and because your graders don't get to see you in person, I have tried to be really thorough in the instructions because I don't have the benefit of classroom time to kind of tell you exactly what I'm looking for. So the instructions are detailed. You need to read them with care, and you need to sort of take a minute and process them and make sure you've got all of those little details down, because if you don't, you'll lose points. So number 2, which I just mentioned a second ago, is to look at your grading rubrics. They tell you, in addition to, that if the instructions tell you how I want you to complete the assignment, the grading rubrics will tell you what I'll be looking for as I look at your work. So it's important to look at those too. And if you are in Canvas and you kind of scroll through the assignment instructions, the rubrics are always at the bottom of the assignment. The third is kind of goes with the other 2. Follow your instructions to the letter, especially when it comes to uploading your images and submitting your assignments. The fourth, and it's kind of tags on to this, is that we expect, and I'll talk about this in the syllabus, but for each shooting assignment in here, I expect that you take new photos specific to the requirements of that shooting assignment. So what I don't want you to do is read the assignment instructions and go through your camera roll or your image files and select photos you've taken ages ago that work. I don't want that. That's dishonest. I want you to watch the lectures, read the the assignment instructions, and then go out and take photos based on, the knowledge that you've gained in the module. If I see, and I have ways that I can check, how old photos are. If I see old photos, you'll lose points. And if it's a repeat problem, you're going to be in trouble. So take images specific to each assignment, go out there and do it. If you've got photos in your library that you think are perfect for what it is I'm asking you to do, that's awesome. I'll look at them, but I will not give you credit for them. So for each assignment, take new photos. And then finally, the fifth sort of like pro tip for finishing the class well is to just challenge your creativity. I think for some people who take this course, that is harder than it might sound. Because of what this is and how we do it, we tend to get a lot of people enrolled who are not art majors and who don't come from a kind of creative arts background. So all of this might seem a little bit alien and daunting and hard. If that's the case, let me know and I can offer some helpful suggestions. But just know that you have unlimited options as far as expressing your creativity goes. Like the whole point of this class is to be creative and to stretch that and to work outside of what feels safe and familiar. And kind of a sidebar to that is that I don't think there's any dumb ideas. So even if you've got something that pops in your head and you're like, oh no, wait, that's stupid. It's not. It's probably really good. And usually there's happy accidents. So if you do something that you didn't intend to do, oftentimes it's really good. So just challenge your creativity and don't be afraid of taking a step in a direction that feels a little bit unfamiliar. That's what art's all about, and that's what makes it fun and exciting. So those are my tips for kind of doing this course well. Just kind of a last sort of housekeeping couple of items. The syllabus contains information about accommodation for disabilities. So please look for that on your own. And if you need accommodations, please be in touch with me as you need. And it goes without saying that any communication on that front is confidential. So just I'm the one you come and talk to if you've got any issues along those lines. We do have several writing assignments in this course. So if writing is something that is not your jam, or if it's difficult for you, or if it gives you anxiety, or if English is not your first language, I can't encourage you enough to visit the Writing Center in the basement of the W.T. Young Library. They've helped students from this class before. They're super nice, and it's a very, very good resource to know about on campuses. And they offer tutoring and writing services and individual help both in person and remotely. So that's a good resource you should know about. Also, because we're an online class, we tend to get a lot of athletes. So if you're a D1 athlete and your travel schedule is going to impact the course over the semester, please be sure to communicate any of those needs to me. Oftentimes what will end up happening is that I will work with your CATS advisor to kind of make sure we're on track and we stay on track and we keep time managed pretty well. So if you're an athlete and you need some accommodations based on travel or whatever, just let me know as soon as possible. Always let me know sooner than later if you need anything, because I want to help you and I want you all to do well. But I can't if I don't know that there's an issue. So that brings me to my final point, and probably the most important point is communication. Again, I really hate that I don't get to see you and talk to you all face to face. And so in the absence of that, we just kind of have to rely on this machine right here, the computer. And so the way that I communicate with you all is via Canvas announcement. I don't do email blasts. I use the Canvas tools. So be sure that you've got your own Canvas settings enabled such that you receive course announcements. And if I were you, I do this. So if I were you, I'd have them sent to wherever you tend to see things like emails and course announcements most often. So, like, I forward all of my Canvas communication to my UK email, which then goes to my phone. So, and I know if you have the Canvas app on your phone, you can actually like set those notifications to, to come in as a blank message, real time. So just be sure that you have your notifications enabled on Canvas, because the way that I get you guys and information that I need that's not necessarily in the course materials, any sort of supplemental information, I use the Canvas announcement tool. So make sure that you can see that and that you read it, because sometimes I clarify things or I, change dates if, we're in volatile like winter time here. So if the university closes, sometimes I have to sort of adjust the syllabus a little bit. So just be sure that you pay attention to those. You are responsible for any of the information I send via that tool. So you need to be sure that you see it. Same goes for comments on grades and things like that. I always comment within the grading rubric and underneath of that. So if you get a grade that you maybe not happy with and you want to know, oh, why did I get this? Probably I've told you why. You just have to go and look for where I've told you why. It's usually always there. So again, that's one of these things that as you dive into the course, if you have trouble finding what you need to find, just let me know and we can walk you through it. I am available, anytime via email. I should say that I do have a little almost 3-year-old monster at home, so I don't stay up late. So if you email me, at about like 11 for an assignment that's due that night at midnight, I'm not going to see it. Just gonna be honest with you, I'm not going to see it. I won't see it till the next morning. So just know that I don't stay up late. So that's another reason not to like wait till the very last minute to do the work. I'm usually pretty good about returning emails, as are your other graders. If you have grading questions, you need to contact them first, and they'll go over this, and I'll go over this again in the next video. But we're all available by email, and that's the best way to find us if you need us quickly. I also am going to try a new thing this semester. And beginning on January 30th, which is a Thursday, I am going to hold weekly open office hours. I'm going to go just post up at the Lucille Little Fine Arts Library and, do my own work, but I'll be there. So if you have any questions at all, on Thursdays from 1 to 3, you can come find me. Lucille Little Fine Arts Library, and we can talk about it, whatever you want to talk about. If you want to run ideas for a project by me, if you have grading questions, if you have Canvas issues, like whatever you need, I'll be there and you can just come. You don't have to make an appointment. Otherwise, if you need me and that time slot doesn't work for you, you're just going to have to email me and we'll have to work something out kind of on an appointment basis. I have a little workspace on campus, but I don't use it very often. I do most of my work out of the house or over at the library. So that's where I'll be on Thursdays, and you can come find me and we can talk. Or if you just want to like say, hey, I like company. I think that's it. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I'm looking forward to a really good semester. The next 2 videos in this little lecture series are going to walk you through how, like, the Canvas course shell and then the syllabus. So by the time you watch all 3 of these, you should have all the major questions answered. But again, if you don't, or if something's still bugging you, just let me know. Reach out and we'll go from there. All right. Thank you guys, and we'll talk soon.